Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Shield Bash. I am Mark, your GM and host for today, and to my right,
Will, playing Uko.
And adjacent to will be Jason, playing Bridger.
He's got nothing to say. All right, and
how is that not something?
there's always something. There's always something. I keep waiting because he's got something to say, but not this time. So yeah. Anyway, and
better to burn out than to fade away.
I thought that was clever. Fuck you.
Hey, Kurt, can you check your headset real quick? I don't think you heard what was said.
Curtis
What?
playing Donk.
Pete playing Nat.
Brit playing Balmy Taker.
Balmy Taker.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What?
So, you guys just killed a dragon. Now what are you going to do?
We're going to Disneyland.
I'm going to take a fucking nap.
Uko feels completely fine. He's pulling scales off this dragon and seeing if he can make like earrings and stuff with them.
Sounds legit.
Do you have crafting?
I do, and I'm also a tailor.
That's awesome.
Ooh.
I mean, we had 2 people get dropped. How many people did I have down to 1 hit point? That was pretty. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, I think, huh? And 1 to 3.
Yep.
I don't know what your guys' problem was. I was above 23 the entire time.
That's probably a good thing.
How?
Because I passed the save and only took like a handful of damage.
He took half a 19 instead of the full thing.
What the fuck is your... What is your total hit points?
I'm at 28.
30.
I think it's 26, 27, somewhere in there, maybe? Hold on a second. I have to open my character. I haven't done that yet.
I'm thinking, like, even if you took half and you were at max, that should still drop you below 20.
I was at... Oh, no, I was at 15. I lied.
Dirty fucking liar!
Liar. Uko's pants are on fire.
No, Will's pants are on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Uko wouldn't have lied.
But yeah, that was some butthole puckering going there. I could see it.
Yep.
But that was good, man. Because without the fear of death, what kind of excitement is there for your characters, right? Am I right?
Right.
Fear of death is one thing. The fear of TPK and having to restart all this shit is a whole different prospect.
I had faith in you. If nothing else, Tooth would have miraculously woke up and said, "Hey, where's all my guys out?" And he would have heard the roar, and he would come and save the day, I'm sure.
He would have got stomped.
Hey, Neil, we're sorry everybody else survived, but your character died. I mean, like dead.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a coincidence that Bridger's tactical retreat also took him nearer to the exit, but I'm not saying it's not a coincidence.
Yeah, we're trying to lure the dragon back here. Sure.
I just want to say too that the rogues and the sprite were probably the MVPs. Donk was running for the exit too, man. He was heading for the door, and then the dragon whop just smacked him against the wall.
I was hoping for some, healing, but
You know what would have been really funny? If everybody died except the 2 religious people that made it out, and then they had to drag Doof upstairs. Oh yeah, the rest of everybody's dead. We're not going back down there.
Sorry about your luck, lady.
This pilgrimage was a failure. Followers of the same faith too. That's what was funny about it.
Good times. Well, with the conquering the dragon, we're upstairs in the fishery. We're going to do a little more talking to Tamily, and you guys can figure out what you're going to do. But for our listeners, that was the entirety of the beginner's box, the Paizo Pathfinder 2nd Edition beginner's box scenario, Menace under Otari. These guys did a great job, I think. Hopefully you guys think so too. And now we are going to rather seamlessly transition into the 2nd Edition Pathfinder Abomination Vaults Adventure Path, the Ruins of Gauntlet. It will also take place right here in the seaside town of Otari, and What will our new band of adventurers, newly formed and forged in the fires of the dragon breath underneath Otari, what will they get up to next? We are just as anxious to see as you are.
Yep.
It was poison breath.
Well, I know, but never mind, Will.
It burns your veins.
Yes.
Your eyes.
Yes.
And your other various orifices.
Orifici.
Or orifici.
Cloaca.
Jason's still over there taking deep breaths.
Yeah, man. That was a hell of a fight. Like, I didn't put, 3 solid hours of work into this backstory just to have him die before we got to the actual AP. But it was a very real possibility.
Now, here's the thing. You guys had 5 player characters. The beginner's box is actually written for 4 player characters.
Fuck that.
If we'd done it like that, I believe one of theirs is the fighter, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That fight would have been a lot easier if we could have had a fighter.
Yeah, the beginner's box, you get 4 pre-made characters. They are Valeros the fighter, Maricel the rogue, Kira the priest, and of course Ezrin the wizard. So you have a nice, well-rounded party to go and attack. Here, we not so well-rounded, but much more diverse. I think the fight would have been a lot easier too. If Toof would have been up and at him. He's a pretty good damage dealer.
You think?
But but it didn't help that the thing got initiative too, though. I won the initiative by 1, which
Let's
was
start
enough.
off with the fucking breath weapon. Yeah.
Hey, Mark,
I would've
nobody's...
done
It's what I would have done.
Please continue to run shit like this because that,
Yeah, it's
like
cool.
you said, that thrill it's like riding a roller coaster. It gets the blood pumping.
Absolutely.
And
Scary as hell the first time you do it per day.
Which for me is all that happens because I ride one roller coaster and I'm fucking done. Last street festival we had here, we had the one that goes back and forth and to build up momentum and then rolls you upside down a bunch of times. And my youngest, she was 5, wanted to go on it, and my wife was like, and I'm like, fuck. So I rode it, and the dude who let me off was like, "Are you okay?" I was like,
No.
I was like white in the face, and I looked at my wife. I'm like, "I'm gonna go home now." And I like tottered off. I'm like, I do not handle those things well.
I was going to say that's a thing that happens to you when you get older. I think it's something with your inner ear and things changes as you age. But I know, back in the day, they did not make a roller coaster or a ride that was too scary or too fast for me. I mean, I was all about it. I mean, Mr. Freeze, the Superman, Batman, forward, backward, it didn't matter. The hammer wing thing that they did at the carnivals was fun. The Super Buccaneer like that goes upside down. Those were so cool because every once in a while you get somebody on there that couldn't hold their stuff. And if they were going fast enough, you could actually have somebody puke and hit themselves in the face when they came back around.
Oh God.
I saw it happen.
One of my favorite roller coasters was the Wicked Twister, which I believe they shut down because too many people died. But
That's always a mark of a great coaster.
it was like a U shape, and it would go from 0 to like 70 miles an hour in less than a second, and then it twisted on the way up, and then you went backwards as you twisted, and went the other way and twisted on the way up, and it did that a few times. A lot of fun.
I remember that my wife and we had gone to Great America, and they had this, I don't know if it's called Pharaoh's Fury or what the hell it was, but it was like theater seating. And this thing would do this giant loop like a Ferris wheel, but meanwhile, the seating was also spinning.
Right.
And I noticed the line over it, they had like this roof of blue tarps. And I was like, wow, that's really nice for that ride. They put those tarps over the line so everybody could stay in the shade. And then once the ride got going, a bunch of people barfed. And they're sitting back, and you can see the barf just raining down on the tarp. I was like, okay, so that's why that tarp is there.
I knew where that was going. Been there, seen that. Yeah.
Usually when you throw up in your mouth, it's an unpleasant thing. But I'd imagine it's even more so when it goes out of you and then back in.
Or how about they had one at Six Flags that I thought was always a great ride. It wasn't much to it, but it was a lot of fun. It was called the Tom Twister. and you go in. It's a big circular room, right? And everybody stands against the wall, and it starts spinning.
Oh yeah.
And it spins faster and faster and faster and
the
faster.
Cajun crawler, yeah.
And then the floor drops out from under you. They lower the floor, and you are stuck to the wall by centrifugal force. Now, this is awesome until somebody pukes.
The person that pukes, it's hilarious because like
It goes out and comes right back.
it looks like this little fountain is just like
Right. It's like picture The Exorcist, Linda Blair with the pea soup going out and then coming right back. It's like a yo-yo or a bungee of puke that goes out.
and it's weird because like the cone just kind of comes back on itself, you know. So
No, this is all if you're lucky enough that they're facing forward when they puke. If they turn their head to their left, like
Everybody gets
if they turn their head to the right, it doesn't even get out of their mouth. The most dangerous ride I ever saw was a Ferris wheel. Caught fire while my wife was on it.
You're kidding.
You were in town, Pete. That was at Heritage Days. That was at Heritage Days last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
climb, honey. You can
Last
make
year.
it. It's okay, honey. Just climb. You can make it.
The scariest thing that I've seen is me and a friend of mine were going on this ride, and it was one of the ones where you like sit in a chair, but the top of it doesn't have anything above you, and it's still a fold down over your shoulders and over your lap, like all inclusive. Well, they did not fold hers down very well over her, and she was like trying to tell them, and they didn't. They just like ignored her. Oops. And so we get halfway through this ride, and I just see her come up and out of the chair, and she's just like suspended in air, very easily could have slipped out of it. And I look over, and I'm just like, and I can't reach her because my arm is like pinned in by the thing. So I'm like, oh, fuck, don't die, hold on.
It's been nice knowing you.
Was she hurt?
No, she
Okay.
survived. She lived.
Cajun crawler that where the floor drops out from underneath you. I remember the first time I went on that, there was like this little kid, and he like starts turning sideways on the wall, and he like starts walking like Spider-Man along the wall, and then he tries to put his feet and like stand up with his face towards the center. And I was like, man, you're an asshole, little kid.
Until they start to stop it, and then he goes, thump.
I've seen those too where like, they don't drop the floor, but they raise the thing up, which effectively is the same, but by raising it up, they can then start to tilt it slowly.
Yeah, those are fun. I rode those at the fairs and stuff like that.
Hey, does Otari have one of those?
No, but you know what Atari does have?
A big flume that we could just zip
Yes,
down.
they have a big water wheel and a huge flume that takes the logs from the top at the holding pond above all the way down the 300-foot cliff face to the seashore where they're picked up by the logging vessels that take them to Absalom. And as you're standing there in front of the Otari fishery talking to Tamale and she's working on your breakfast, you see several logs go down. And you also hear a commotion as it looks like there's a couple of young boys on one of the logs shooting the flume, which you've come to find out from being in town that is a thing that the youth try to do. But the owners of the sawmill, of course, they frown on that because sometimes people die and then they want to sue, and they try to stop it.
Shred some gnar, little kids!
So Tamale comes out. She has a huge iron skillet. She motions to you guys to put some of the crates on the barrels in front of the single chair that Bridger is sitting in with his head in his claws, with the large dragon body beside him, and she kind of steps around it, and as you put the boards down on the barrels, she sets the skillet down there, and she goes, I'll be right back with some plates, and she says, just a moment, and she goes, oh, just grab some chairs over there, and she goes back and she grabs the plates, and she goes, now, so you were saying that of course the dragon had eaten all my fish, and the kobolds were feeding it to the dragon, and they were raising the dragon to attack Otari?
I don't know if they were necessarily attacking Otari, but it does seem like they had some problems with the people here. I don't really speak Draconic.
Not no more.
Uko looks to Bridger and says, Bridger, did they say they were going to attack Otari?
In essence, they were going to reclaim the surface lands, which, if you had, surrendered and been willingly their slaves, they would not have attacked, but, that would have been shitty. Yeah, it probably would have been an attack. They had another exit up the coast that was big enough for the dragon to get out, but they're dead now, so...
Well, that's a relief.
Yeah.
Well, I did promise to pay you all for it, and even though I don't have any fish to sell the captain, I'm sure he would love to hear the tale. And what are you going to do with the rest of the dragon? I see you taking the head off of it and some scales. But if I showed him that and told him what happened, he would probably believe me instead of just that we had a bad haul or something on the fish. So that might help me out. But I am so happy that you guys got this out of my basement. Now I can get the brickwork redone and maybe some steel or I don't know, something, and then I can fix my basement and I can be back in business.
There's also the possibility that you could expand your basement if you want. There's a lot of space down there.
I got an idea about that. We could once word gets out, that Otari's newest heroes have saved the day over here, we could give guided tours firsthand. And we could tell them what happened in every place.
Yes, that might be a thing. Kind of like an amusement park or a spelunking expedition.
I was just thinking. You said that the captain might not believe us, so we could go show him.
Well,
and then if anybody else wanted to go too, we could charge admission.
There is some credence to the fact that this is a part of history. It was some kind of old structure. It wasn't just a cave. There was some cave, but there does seem to be some kind of structure down there, and even has a fountain.
A fountain? A fountain in the caverns of my basement?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah, we might be able to do that, but it's really going to be busy around here since I have to make up the fish shipment. But I know. I told you that not only would I pay you, but you could keep anything you found down there. So you keep that. But if I could have the body of the dragon just long enough to show the captain when he comes tomorrow, and if one of you wanted to be here, you don't have to be. Because you've done so much already. But I could tell him that this is why. I don't have any fish, but but we're going to get back on business. The next week we'll start again, and on the next morning, and if you guys wanted to tell somebody about the caverns and stuff for further exploration or something like that, I'm sure you could talk to the mayor, or you might even want to go over to the Dawnflower Library. I'm sure the librarians over there and the priestess, she would probably be interested in that. You said there was a temple down there too, or two temples, or I didn't realize there was that much under there.
Uko will describe everything that we found in some detail that isn't too long for her, but also he would say, I would be more than happy to stay here or come back when the captain comes to explain the situation.
Oh, that would be so nice of you. And I remember hearing it's tales from my gram. She used to say that something about the kobolds lived around here, or I know there's history of kobolds here in Otari, and if anybody would know about them, I would say it would either be the people at the library, or maybe there's this lady. She's very pretty, but she's just different. But that's not bad different. That's just her. And her name is Wrin Savinix. And Wrin Savinix, she she's a tiefling lady, but she's kind of an elf. She's kind of like an elf with tiefling horns. I mean, she's very nice, and she has all manner of knowledge. And some people don't really care for her because they say that she's like a hippy dippy or whatever. But she lives over on the other side of town. It's like a tent. But it's got walls that she lets up and down because she says she doesn't like to be inside a lot. And she doesn't like corners, so it's round, which is different, but she's very nice. And she knows a lot of stuff about Otari and the stars. And, and she sells stuff for adventurers, yeah. So if you found anything that you're not wanting, I would say probably try her first, and you might be able to find out more about where the kobolds came from or why they were here. But I will make sure I spread the word that the adventures of... What did you guys say your name was for your group again?
I think for now we come up with one thing. What was it again?
Kortos Isle Dragon Slayers.
Kotos Isle Dragon Slayers.
That's right. Kids.
Oh. Kids, but you dragon slayer. I like it. It's funny. Yeah. They're going to call you the kids, but you're actually dragon slayers. That's kind of neat.
Kind of a bait and switch kind of deal, huh?
Right.
Very good for what are they called? The duels?
I didn't understand that, young man. You should sit down. You look tired.
I think we all are.
A little pale.
Must be the poison.
Are we still eating breakfast, or is that past already?
No, breakfast on the table. Yeah, she produced a big skillet of eggs and peppers and onions and sausages, and you guys are free to help yourself.
Does anybody else want any part of this dragon? Like, I know you've been pulling scales, Uko. I got the claws.
I'll take a tooth.
Uko just wants like a handful of the scales, and he's gonna have, probably while she was cooking, made 2 really, really terrible looking earrings out of them. And also we got these for you.
Well, you didn't have to do that, young man. That was very nice. These are, I like these. And she quickly, takes her earrings out, which were just like, plain little studs, of glass, and she puts them back in, and she's like, oh, yeah. She goes, do they bring out my eyes? And her eyes were like totally not even close to the color of the scales, but...
Absolutely.
You're so sweet. You guys have been so helpful, and girls, lady, I'm sorry. You've been so helpful to me. I am going to let you guys eat here any evening you would like. So we're usually open an hour before sundown until an hour after midnight, and we have drinks and we have food. It's kind of a rowdy place. All the longshoremen and the sailors around, they come to hang out here. Makes me feel like I'm young again. And you guys are more than welcome to come by to get food. And also, if you're ever looking for work, like, between dragon slayings or adventures, I can put you to work working on the dock, or you could help out on the fishing boats. Or I find some kind of, something to do during your downtime.
Miss Tam.
Yeah.
This is really good breakfast. You should have some.
Oh, well, I
Donk picks up his plate and he starts licking it.
And while he's going to, insist, and then while she finally shuts up for, 5 seconds, he's going to look at the rest of the group and be like,
how would you guys feel about, just letting her sell to the rest of the dragon?
That's fine with me.
Works for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
She would
I don't have a
recoup some of
problem
that
with that.
cost.
So, Miss Tam, when you're done chewing there, you can sell the dragon if the boat captain will buy it. I'm sure he can find... You said he goes to Absalom, right? I'm sure he can find money for it in Absalom. We've taken the parts we want, and can we get directions to the Wrin's... Can I get directions to Wrin's pavilion?
Yeah. I can help you out with that. Well, we're here at the dock, and if you go to it's called Wrin's Wonders, and it's you're just going to go left here out of the fishery, and you're going to go to the Rose Guard Road. It's the main road that heads through town, and you're going to go straight north until you get to Ivashani Street, and then you'll take a left. Don't go over the bridge. You want to take the right before the bridge and just follow the road, and you'll come to Wrin's Wonders.
Thank you.
And he'll plop down a familiar-looking coin purse, specifically the one that he just got from her. It's like,
for breakfast.
Oh,
I'll see you in a bit.
but that's much too much. I mean, you guys did a wonderful job, and you're leaving the dragon, so I'll be okay with the captain. And well, why don't you take it and give it back to him when he's not looking?
I'll take it.
Okay, thank you.
So, hey, looky here, lady. We got this one feller. He's down there in your basement still sleeping it off. Is it all right if we leave him down there for a while?
No, we dragged him up.
Oh, fuck! I must have had my back turned.
He's sleeping under the table. Don't worry about it.
All right, never mind.
Yeah, it's fine. He can stay here till he wakes up. Does he need a priest or priestess or somebody?
Yeah, he's still breathing. I think he's alive.
If you have any smelling salts, that might be...
Well, I have salt, and I mean...
Yeah, probably just salt him while we're gone.
I don't want to assault him. He's asleep.
No, salt him. Just...
Oh, has he got evil spirits or something? I mean...
Well, where he's from, natural medicine is more common, so I think they just sprinkle salt over people when they're unconscious. It seems right.
Okay, so she goes back behind the bar. At the back, she gets a big bowl of salt.
Oh, please, wait until we're gone.
Okay. Well, you guys are welcome back anytime. And lady, you're welcome back anytime. Thank you so much for getting rid of the rats and kobolds and giant spiders and
the
dragon, smelly things, and the dragon out of my basement cavern complex that I didn't know I had.
Real quick, were the sausages like links, or was it?
Well, she kind of cut them up into slices and scrambled them up with the peppers and the onions and the eggs. It was like a country scramble, so to speak.
So what about the eggs? How were they?
They were seagull eggs, and they were scrambled.
Was there toast?
I was going to put the sausages in the pickle jar.
You didn't ask for toast.
What about the peppers? How are those prepared?
Well, I diced them finely because I don't like big chunks of pepper myself.
And just gave us like a bowl of diced peppers?
No, I put them in the scramble.
Okay.
Was like a...
So everything has been in the scramble since the last episode.
In the scramble.
Like a Western scramble,
I was hoping there was some sausage left over to throw in the pickle jar, but
You said it was full.
It's full.
We've been eating on it. And I'm not putting the dragon parts in there. It might corrupt the rest of the pickle jar.
Yeah, because everything else in there is so healthy for you.
I was going to say, we really need to worry about it corrupting the rest of it, huh?
Well,
That intestinal distress jar over there.
Look, you've never walked around with a goblin that has bad gas. I'm just saying. That's
right.
It's not good.
Hey, you don't know his life.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to follow the directions and head to Wrin's Wonders. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's where Bridger's going.
Yeah, Uko's going to head there. The captain shouldn't be here, she said, until tomorrow, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, he would go to Wrin's Wonders.
She said he'll be here bright and early tomorrow morning. He usually gets in right after dawn. I mean, if you don't want to come back, I understand. You're very busy. You're a dragon slayer now and everything.
I will absolutely come back.
Oh, you're so nice. And I love my earrings. I'm going to show them off to everyone tonight.
Nat, I'll go with you guys. How much gold was in that purse?
I believe he said that everybody gets 28. Yeah.
So 56 total. Got it.
No, I expected him to not have the ethics to do that. And I didn't expect the party to do anything about it. So.
All right.
Now, I will also say that is not what we were told. We were told that we were given the 50, and that's what he left.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Yes.
Oh. Where did I get 28 then?
That's what we get for selling all of our shit.
Right.
Ah, okay.
So 28 plus 50?
Yes. So a total of 78 apiece is what you'll start with on your character sheet for your second level character, in addition to anything you had left over from your character creation. So with that bit of housekeeping and clarification made, you guys start north on the Rose Guard Road. As you walk down to the end of the street and you turn north, the first two areas of interest you come to is on the left. You see an ornate bridge over the Osprey River. And Bomby, you're very familiar with this area. It's the Crook's Nook. In fact, you frequent there quite a bit.
Second home.
This time in the morning, there's not very many people at all. Looks like it's still kind of closed, but there's probably still somebody in there awake and open. The market, though, across the street from the bridge, is bustling at this time. That is the Otari market. And as you proceed farther down, about halfway through town, you come to the Farmers Guild, and there is a farmers market going on this early morning. And there's lots of people there with wagon loads of food and grain and vegetables and the like, some livestock and stuff. And you proceed farther north, and you see a two-story building that looks rather odd, and you see a sign on the edge of it sticking out from the wall, and it says that it is Odd Stories. Nat, you know a little bit about Odd Stories. You know it's a place to find other books besides the library. And so you can kind of point that out to them. You get down to the corner of Rosegard Street and of Vashante Street, and you turn to the left. And as you proceed down that street to the east, you smell the smoke from a forge, and you hear some tapping, some ding, ting, ting of a blacksmith at work, and you see the Blades for Glades. Blacksmith and weapon store, and as you get close to the bridge across the Osprey River, you turn right, and down a dirt road almost at the edge of the river, you see a very interesting building. Tim?
Is it round?
It is round. It has no sign, but the locals all know it as a place called Wrin's Wonders, a place to marvel at whatever strange new trinkets and offering its equally strange owner has come across. The structure consists of a ring of what appears to be standing stones arranged in a 60-foot diameter circle, surrounding a 15-foot dome of wooden beams covered with triangular pieces of canvas. Closer inspection of the standing stones reveal that they are only made of wooden frames and canvas, cleverly painted to resemble granite. At this time of the morning, the canvas is all drawn down, so it makes more like a domed tent, or the stones with the top. And since it's not raining, you think that they would probably be drawn back, but it's still early. So what would you like to do?
I'm probably going to wait here for them to open, because this seems like the most interesting place.
Spot on this crazy structure that looks like it's the entrance.
You walk all the way around it, and you see several, parts in the fabric between the canvas that looks like stone, but they're all tied shut right now. And you do notice that the place closest to the road looks like there's a small path that's been worn in the grass there. So you're thinking that's probably the entrance. But oddly enough, there's no sign or anything.
Pop a squat next to that trail there, then. Wait.
All right. So you guys are just going to hang out there?
I'll be right back. Nat's going to see about going back to that weaponsmith.
Oh, to the Blades for Glades? All right. So is anybody going with Nat?
Nope.
Everybody else just going to hang out by the teepee stone dome?
I'll go with Nat.
Okay, so Donk and Nat are heading back, following the sounds of the hammer on the metal, back down the street to 50 Avashante Street. And you see a sign that says Blades for Glades. Unfortunately, it looks like the sign is pretty weathered, doesn't look to be in great repair. And as you walk in, you notice that there looks to be an apprentice in the back, and he is kind of haphazardly hammering on a piece of red metal. You notice a desk over the side. You notice several wares on the walls and the counter behind him on the shelves, but it seems like everything's kind of got like a little patina of dust, like there hasn't been a whole lot of business. And you notice that the man, there's a man seated at the table the desk, but he's got his head down on one hand, and you get the smell of strong coffee from a pot and a cup that he's got there in front of him. And every time the apprentice tings on the hammer, you can see him kind of. So you guys walk in the front door. He doesn't really notice that you're even there.
So, seeing him, Nat will holler out, "Hey! Hey, you! Do you guys work on bows?"
Oh, who's making that infernal racket?
Your apprentice back there.
No, the squeaky one.
Oh, I don't hear a squeaky noise.
He kind of looks up and he sees the goblin and, "Can I help you?"
I'm just looking.
Well, who asked about the bows? You don't have a bow.
Hey, down here on the corgi.
He kind of leans forward across the desk and, hello.
So do you work on bows?
Not so much. It's called Blades for Glades. If you didn't read the sign, I work on blades mostly. Some shields, armor. Not so much bows. You really should see a bower or somebody like that. Excuse me, I have a horrible headache this morning. Must be something I ate. What else could I help you with?
You could point me in the direction of a bower.
Well, I'm trying to think of who in town still does that. You might be able to find some help at the market. Could probably order you a bow from Absalom. There's nobody really in town that works on them. I mean, I could probably restring it for you, or glue it or something. But I'm mostly working in metal and steel.
Well, that's unfortunate. I don't need one purchased. I need one worked on. But if that's not you and you don't know where I can get that done, I thank you for your time. And then, without waiting any time at all, she'll turn flea and head back out.
He kind of follows you and scratches his head, and he looks at the goblin and he goes, "What can I do for you?"
After looking around the shop while he was carrying on his conversation, were there any goblin weapons in the shop?
At least two on your person.
Give me a perception check.
19.
Well, you don't see any goblin weapons, Don, because you were casing the place. But you did see that on the opposite wall where all the weapons were, you see some old posters. And the old posters, there's about 3 of them, and they all say stuff like, "Change will do you good." Vote for mayor. Otari is in your hands. Rajani for the future. It looks like campaign posters. Like this guy has run for mayor at least 3 times.
How much, living in the area, how much would I know about the politics locally?
Give me a society check.
23.
23. You never really paid a whole lot of attention to, politics in town here. It really wasn't your thing. Plus, you didn't really know what was going on. You know that there's a guy that's been mayor for a long time, and this guy, he definitely has run. You remember the name now that you see it on the broadsides on the wall. But you also know he's never won, apparently, and that's about all you remember from being around. You know that he always tries to run a good campaign, but he usually ends up doing something to smear his own name, like he steps on his crank. And you also know that he's kind of bitter about it.
Well, I come into town to get pickles and I hear things. So with that, I just wave. And, if there's nothing else for me to see that's really interesting in here, I go out the door after my friend on a dog.
All right, you guys go ahead and turn. You know that if you could persuade him to be more friendly towards you guys, that he would probably be able to do some support for you or something. But you would have to talk to him and things. You also know that this would be a place where you could sell armor, weapons. You could buy pretty much anything mundane, and he would probably be able to order you stuff that you can't get in town. and that goes for most of the shops here in town.
He might be able to attach a shield boss.
Yes.
But like doing business here in town, I asked this just because I'm a goblin. There are some prejudices toward goblins, so seeing how he would react to me or how some of the other shopkeepers act, I'd probably rather have one of my friends communicate some of those things.
He didn't seem like you just think he's an unfriendly guy anyway, and he was hungover, but he didn't treat you any different than the sprite. He just was kind of pretty gruff and, kind of whatever. Definitely not a nice person. So, you guys that are standing around and sitting around outside of Wrin's Wonders, the first thing you notice is you hear a humming coming from inside. And you hear...
It's fucking Snow White.
And as you hear the humming, you notice that the canvas on the top starts to draw back, kind of like blinds, bunches up towards the top of the stones, and you can see the wooden framework underneath. Then between the stones, you see the tent become untied one at a time, and they get pulled back behind the stones. So it just looks like there's openings between the stone and then the roof, and it's all open. And as she comes finally up to the front, you see Wrin Savinix in her person.
While we were waiting, Bridger wanted to ask Balmy something.
All right, we'll do that then before we get into the first meeting of Wrin Savinix.
Hey, you didn't take it, did you?
No, I didn't take it. What's it?
No offense, but you don't exactly have a stellar past with, these things, so... I left her a lot of money, and I want to make sure it stayed there.
I didn't take it.
All right.
No, really.
I said all right.
And just as you guys are talking about that, the last door opens up and gets tied back, and a female tiefling elf lady.
Oh, yeah.
Wrin Savinix is a female tiefling elf. She has long white blonde hair, kind of milky white eyes with very small black pupils, and a set of horns that curl back over the long elven pointed ears that she has. She's dressed like she comes from maybe one of the countries to the south. And she has a large star-shaped brooch on her front, pearls, a star knife, bracelets. And as she hears you ask him that, she goes, "This one is telling the truth. It was the small one that absconded with your purse. You knew that, didn't you? But I see that you guys are coming down the street." And she goes, "Oh, that's the one." And she points to the sprite. "That's where you'll find your lost thing."
Well, I didn't lose it. I gave it away.
"Did you give it to that one?"
No.
"Then they have found it." And she kind of smiles and she goes, "But please don't stand outside. Come in to Wrin's Wonders."
Hey, Uko?
Yeah, she has it.
Yeah, how does she have it?
The lady did not want to keep it.
And? Did she just take it without permission?
No.
Uko, why do I have to pull this information from you, my dude? Why can't you just explain to me what the fuck is happening?
Well, I was going to tell you in a moment. What? The tent was rather enchanting.
I am waiting. We've been sitting here for... Dude. My dude.
Well, you just now asked.
I didn't realize I would have to ask if you saw somebody steal that much money from a townsperson.
Well, she didn't steal. She was supposed to bring it back to you. I just assumed that she got distracted by that smith.
We've been walking through town, my dude. And then she turned and walked back. You were with us almost the whole time.
Yeah. I did not assume that she had done anything wrong yet.
I fail to understand how somebody taking something for somebody else and then not delivering it to them is anything less than stealing.
But she hasn't not given it back to you.
Yes, she has. She has every opportunity to do so and is not.
Agree to disagree.
If you can explain to me how I'm in any way incorrect, I will agree with you to disagree.
If she doesn't have the money, then you're correct.
No, that also is a very logical fallacy. If she has spent it in some way, then she has definitely stolen it. Hey,
That's what I'm saying.
Nat?
If she doesn't have the money, then she absolutely stole it.
I presume that you've heard this entire conversation.
It depends. How far away are we?
Oh, you got there. She noticed you two coming up the street, and you get there right as they start that whole conversation.
Right as they start it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then, Nat will turn to Bridger and go, well, yeah, you didn't want it. I figured I'd wait until you and Uko were not next to each other, and I'd give it to Uko so that he could give it back to you. Because you apparently don't want it, but it's not mine.
But he just informed me that it was supposed to be returned to me by the person who owned it. May I have the money, please?
Yes.
Thank you. And if you ever try to steal from me or from a townsperson again, I will seek vengeance upon you. These are good people. You will not take advantage of them.
I did not steal anything.
I will not argue the semantics of this with you. You have taken that which did not belong to you and refused to return it when you had the opportunity to do so.
I didn't want to have an argument with you about you not wanting it and it belonging to her, so I was going to give it to Uko when you weren't next to Uko.
I don't... You can think up whatever excuses you want. You had every opportunity to give it to Uko on the walk over here, and then he could have given it to me. You did not. You refused to give it to anybody when you had the chance to do so. You can now backpedal and try to think of reasons why you did not, but it is too little too late. You had the chance and you refused to do so until you were called out for it. So it is hard for me to believe that you would have given it up willingly when you had the chance to do so and did not.
She did tell us to give it back to you without letting you know.
You did not give me that information.
But I have now.
And for that,
Does that change your calculations?
I am trying to, and if everybody will let me finish the sentence, I will apologize. I apologize, Nat. I was given partial information.
And I apologize for the misconception.
You hear a voice from inside the Standing Stones, and she says, "Friends, please come in. I have tea that will perhaps calm the mood and clear the mind. Because when we make assumptions on half-known information, sometimes they can lead us down a dark and twisted path. Please come in."
So as all this starts, Donk starts looking for a distraction. Anything shiny will do.
You look inside the Standing Stones, and there are several things laid out on the floor on a blue cloth that are sparkling in the sunlight.
Let's go see those things.
Kind of like a street market would have.
Exactly.
And before everybody leaves, though, Bridger just does say loudly, he's like,
I did mean what I said.
and he kind of like looks over the whole group and he's like,
if I find that anybody has taken advantage of these town people, I will seek recompense.
By take advantage, you mean cheat and steal, right?
I mean by take advantage. I will not narrowly define it in such a way that you can try and bypass it.
I am only trying to understand. I interrupted a guy who was trying to nap on his desk. Is that taking advantage?
Well, no. Why would that be taking advantage? In what possible way would that be?
Well, I'm just trying to make sure that I
He was
understand.
robbing him of his sleep.
This is an amusing pun. However, it is in no way. If you require, I could try to enumerate some basic concepts of understanding, but I got a feeling for those of you who are being intentionally dense, it would be a waste of my time.
Thank goodness. What's this lady got inside? I want some chamomile.
Well, as you walk inside, you see the inside is still the outside because you can see directly up above you, and you can now see out in all four cardinal points of the directions of the compass. And she is seated at a large, kind of a low table, and there's lots of cushions and roll pillows and stuff like that around it. It looks very inviting. She has a small brazier set up like a hibachi on the table, and there is an ornate teapot, and she has a total of 6 cups laid out.
How convenient.
And as you guys sit down, she goes, "The tall one, the other one that's green, but not as green as you, is missing, yes?"
He is being salted currently.
"Oh, that's why I saw the sea whenever I thought of him. Yes, he's very salty. I've heard that."
He's very salty.
So, I knew you would come to see me eventually. This one in particular, you have been here before I was even here. But not you in person, but a part of you was here. You are all here now, though, and what a fortuitous alignment of the stars that brought you all here to me. I have already heard whisperings on the wind that you are heroes, newly forged into a group. You are the kids under Otari, I have heard it
See,
said.
I told you it'd catch on real quick.
Doc doesn't hear any of this. He starts touching things.
You're just touching the stuff on the...
Yeah, pick it up, look at it, touch it, see if it does stuff.
You shouldn't carry or touch things, not without permission, because that's stealing.
No, dear, it's fine. I mean,
But
all those
that
things...
one said it was stealing.
It's not stealing unless you keep them and walk out with them. That's shoplifting. But I know you wouldn't do that, and these are for sale. In fact, I can offer several things for sale, and also I buy things, oddities, magical items. Of course, are always in short supply around here. But more to the point, I need help. The town needs help. And I think you were all drawn here. You and your missing friend were all drawn here to Otari for a larger reason.
Well, we just took care of the fishery problem.
That was a pretty large problem.
No.
We're still recovering from that one.
My pale friend, that was a small problem. The larger problem lies much deeper under Otari.
I mean, I suppose comparatively to a full-size dragon, it was a small problem. But I think as we've all felt briefly, it was a big problem for us.
I think it was a problem of the correct size and timing to bring your group together as a group. Here sit 5 individuals, one being salted in the fishery, but you all have banded together in a time of need to help people that you didn't really know. Yes, you were going to be paid, but you continued on even afterwards, and this one even tried to give back his earnings to a lady that he thought was underprivileged or had it bad because she lost her fish. That is the mark of true heroes. You are heroes in your hearts first, and then you become heroes in deeds. Why else would you have all band together to help people that you didn't know for such little coin?
To get more pickles.
Pickles motivates you. Well, that's interesting. I have some pickles. They are cut, though, and she brings out a bowl out from a box behind her, and she puts that. It's a little early, but I have some pickles and olives. She goes, but let me tell you of what I have seen. There has been a great disturbance in the cosmic caravan. I have seen people getting off and coming on, and then lately, I've seen a light on top of the lighthouse in the swamp. Have you seen it? Have you seen the lighthouse in the swamp? The Gaunt Light is what they call it. It has not been lit for years, but yet, 3 nights ago, I saw a blue glow rotating around the top of the lighthouse. I'm not sure what it means, but I think it bodes ill for Otari and perhaps for the entire island. You seem to be adventurers, getting your feet, overcoming your first adventure. Would you be willing to go and see why the Gaunt Light is lit again?
You seem to have a lot of information about what has happened recently. Can you not see?
As I said, when I observe the caravan, I see people getting off and people getting on. But strangely and horrifyingly to me, a follower of the caravan, it seems that where the light shines, the stars disappear and blackness is all that's left. I feel that it bodes ill in the future.
Well, he's sitting I imagine the cups are put down in a circle, and Bridger is just calmly sipping the tea without really looking at anybody. And
the Gauntlet is also magically protected from outside divinations.
She kind of bends her head towards you, and there's more to you than meets the eyes. I knew you were special.
That's why I wear clothes.
Funny, too. But with the heart of a I would say, an almost paladin. Are you sure you're not a follower of some greater purpose?
I am indeed. However, a paladin is a life of tragedy.
It can be, but also of great reward. But each one of you have left or been left somewhere in the world and found your way here. You from the darkness towards the light. You from far away and time itself. You from the middle of the swamp. Your people are no more, but you're here. You followed your thirst for knowledge and met these people at the corner of destiny. And you...
Actually, I met him outside of the bookshop.
Yes.
Library.
It was right at a corner, too.
I don't think the street's called Destiny, though.
And you were sent on a mission but found more than what you bargained for, but continued on. You have all been drawn together. Your friend that's missing, he has saw the light. I am sure he has. He lives in the swamp. It's got to be more visible there. So far, I've asked a few people in town if they've seen the light, and they didn't know what I'm talking about. But they think I'm a little different anyway.
Bet you get that every now and then.
I do. It's part of my heritage, but I'm used to it. And I found in the last 4 years that I've been here in Otari that people are very accepting, more so than other places I've been. No one throws rocks or threatens to burn me at stakes anymore, which is very heartening. And I feel drawn here. That's why I've stayed so long, as if something bad was going to happen. And then, 3 nights ago, I saw the gauntlet lit for the first time.
Would, as being from the swamp, would I know anything about this gauntlet?
Why don't you give me a recall knowledge history and or occultism?
While he's doing that.
It's a 18 for occultism.
Bridger, is that what it's like when you see things?
Do you mean when she sees things?
No, when you see things.
What do you mean? Is what like that?
Like
Dude.
when you saw that we would meet Tooth.
It is possible. She is, like us, derives her powers from the cosmic caravan.
But I don't see these things.
Yeah. Okay, you don't, I don't heal.
I've seen you heal.
I do not have the magical ability to heal others. We are each given gifts as needed for tasks that are set before us.
I guess that makes sense.
Donk, in answer to your question, with an 18, you know that for as long as your tribe has been around the area, that the ruins of the lighthouse and the gauntlet have been there. In fact, your great-great-grandfather even said that he remembers it being there. Goblin years, you're sure it's been there for at least 300 years.
Goblin years?
Yes. Just from your memory and those of your family. But it might be even older. And in all that time, you never heard of the gauntlet being lit.
Did I find anything in her store that I want to buy?
I don't know. What were you looking for?
Anything that grabbed my attention.
Well, there's a whole rule book with shit in it, so tell me what you want, and I'll tell you what the price is.
So she's got, like, items. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
How about a striking rune?
She would probably have, let me see what level. She would have one of those.
And I don't recall how much those cost.
Well, we would have to look, because I don't either off the top of my head.
You were going to say something, weren't you, Britt?
Yeah, that's what he just uncovered it without doing any role playing.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry.
Well, at this point, Bridger sets his teacup down and stands up and kind of straightens his robe and turns to look at everybody and goes,
I found Uko in Absalom and convinced him to come here to Otari. My mission is of divine guidance, and I knew to find the members necessary. But now the path is laid before you. It will be long and treacherous, and I cannot guarantee that all of us will survive, myself included. But I say it now. If you will walk the path, I will walk it with you, and I will walk the path regardless. Now is the time, though, for you to decide whether you will. I have seen the gauntlet.
So, we are to go into this ruin?
More than likely, yes.
Okay. That seems easy enough.
So, Bridger, that's an interesting name. I can see why you chose it.
It was chosen for me by this one.
Perhaps he sees more than what he thinks. Perhaps the light is hiding the darkness, or vice versa. I know things, but you say you have seen the glow recently or in the past?
I have not seen it recently.
Ah, as I thought. Now, that's the first thing you should probably do. Take the rest of the day, rest, prepare yourselves, get any gear that you might need. I have a few trinkets here, and I'd be glad to buy things from you should you find anything in your adventures. I can also offer tutelage in the occult arts, and as well as a reading of your future, perhaps, if you would so choose later in the evening once the stars are visible. It would be interesting to me to see if you could actually see the gauntlet, or if it's still so new and gathering energy that it's still imperceptible to those that can't see beyond the veil yet. Perhaps you would look tonight and tell me what you see.
Yeah, we can try.
Absolutely.
I'm still shopping. Is there weapon cords in this shop?
Come on, dude. We're trying to do a dramatic fucking moment here.
It's so
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, go figure.
for Donk.
He picks up like he's looking for weapon cords, so because every time he gets killed, he drops his weapons, and he's a little distraught about that.
If they're in the core rule book, you can find them in the shop, yes.
Okay.
Or you could go to the weaponsmith that he just came from, or you could go to the market, or
I like this lady better. I get two of them and I hold them up, and how much for these?
whatever the price is in the book, Kurt.
Okay, I just take some coins and I put them in my hands. I was like, "Is it one of these?"
She takes a gold piece and says, "Yes, thank you."
I'm pretty sure that he's not perceptive enough to see the light anyway.
Bridger, you saw us.
Yes.
These people with you going along this path.
The start of it, yes. And I know that my path will lead to the gauntlet. I do not know if you will walk that path with me.
You're going to need somebody to record what happens. I'll need to buy a book and a quill. But yes, I will go with. And light the way.
I think you would all die if I didn't, so...
Oh, I sure as hell would.
Probably. If you're there, I'm there.
Donk just assumes he's going with.
I thought it was a foregone conclusion myself. And I'm sure once your friend is recovered from his salting, he would want to go as well. I hope so, 'cause you'll need his strength, I've foreseen. Be careful. No one has ventured into the ruins for quite some time, but there are always tales around of strange disappearances, lights upon the moor. In fact, there's even a clever children's rhyme that they use to this day. Would you like to hear it?
Sure, absolutely.
If you got the time.
It goes something like this, as I remember. When the fog is creeping and the moon is low, when the town is sleeping, the gauntlet starts to glow. That's when she arises for her midnight lunch. Naughty children are prizes for her teeth to crunch. But if you will obey me and always obey the rules, you'll be safe from Bellacora. She only eats the fools. Isn't that clever?
No, they should not use her name.
Who is Bella Cora?
You know, don't you, dear?
It is bad omens.
They sing it as a way to keep her away.
Would I be able to do library lore to figure out if I know anything about her?
If you were in the library, you could.
Okay. I may have to visit the library.
Could I just try a regular
Knowledge history?
knowledge?
There is
Can't
no
do that
knowledge
on
history.
Can't do that untrained, can I?
Nope.
Would that be lore history?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lore history.
Okay.
Recall knowledge history.
Looky here, lady. What can you tell us about this Bella Lugosi person?
It's Bella Lacora.
I like mine better.
Bellacora. Not a lot. I only heard the legends was that she was the one that built the gauntlet and the ruins and the moor. I've only been here for 4 years, but I heard the children singing the rhyme as they jumped rope, and it piqued my interest. It seems that she was some sort of a witch or a boogeyman or boogie woman, as it would so be from what the children say. No one knows much about her that I've talked to. Now, I did hear that the mayor was a descendant of one of the people called the Rose God, who supposedly ended her reign of terror several centuries ago. So you might want to inquire with him. Also, another descendant here in town is none other but the proprietor of the Blades for Glades. Rajani is also a descendant. And even the roads around here are named after the Rose God. So perhaps if you sought these people out and asked them, they might know about Belcora. But I will tell you all that the legends all have something similar in common. They say that one day Belcora will return. One day she will have her revenge upon the Rose God, their descendants, and Otari.
That doesn't sound pleasant.
No, it doesn't sound pleasant indeed.
It is fortunate for us that in this time, I hesitate to say it is good that Arodin died, but his death saw the breaking of prophecies, and thus they can be altered.
Yes, that is true. Now time flows more as a river and not a stagnant pond. It's not locked. The banks flood and flow where they will. Sometimes people can dam them up or divert the flow depending on deeds that you do. Remember, what you do tomorrow may echo in eternity. So go forth and research your foe, if she is even still around. But return, and I will have a reading for you during the night. Come 3 hours after sundown. That usually is the best time to see the stars, and I will be glad to give you any information I can glean from the heavens. But for now, I really need to get to work. Take some cakes and tea, and I will see you later.
All right, thanks, lady.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, everybody, and we will find out what the party finds out next time on Shield Bash.
Shield Bash is made in association with Knights of the Octagon and the Farmageddon Gaming Convention. Find us online at shieldbash.net, on Facebook at Shield Bash, on Twitter at Bash Shield, and on YouTube at Shield Bash. Bumper music provided by Lee Rosevere. Other artists can be found in the episode description. Troubles in Otari, Abomination Vaults, Serpent Skull, and Pathfinder are the property of Paizo Publishing Inc. Leave a comment on iTunes for a chance to hear us read it out on the podcast. Questions and comments can be sent to shieldbashpodcast@gmail.com.